Hello again. It's deck specs time. In case you're curious, my newest deck, if you caught the hint from the modifications video, is in fact Wicked Gods. Got them their own wicked looking deck box and some cool sleeves to complement. So let's take a look at what's building up this deck. Of course, it's not the Wicked Gods without the Wicked Gods. You got Dreadroot, which has the attack of every other card on the field, except itself. Eraser, which is basically a field nuke upon its destruction. And Wicked Avatar, which is Moomir's Shield and a monster effect, but better. Following that up, 3 copies of Arima the Wicked Warden. Can be discarded to search Lair of Darkness. Lets you tribute a dark monster to draw a card, or, if it was a dark monster other than him, you can add a dark monster with 2,000 or more defense to your hand. Basically, the main searcher to add Dreadroot. As for the other 2, that's where Witch of the Black Forest steps in. My Crimson King structure deck's getting with a trio of these, so easily able to search Eraser and Avatar. Their defense being under 1,500. They also kind of searched basically most of the monsters in this deck. Next up, Pettin' the Dark Clown, 3 of. Basically replaces itself when it goes to the graveyard. Kinda useful to combo off with Urashima. Just gotta banish a Pettin and summon another one. As long as you got some in the deck. Next is Codebreaker 0 Day. Wasn't that guy in your Mech Lords? Oh, I digress. I actually had a whole nother Codebreaker set waiting in the wings, so I threw it in for this one. In addition to the 3 0 days, you may remember, the extra deck is practically the same as the Mech Lords. 3 Virus Swordsmen and a Iris Berserker. You may remember what they do from the Mech Lord video. Anyway, here comes the other cards that made their way over from Mech Lords, the ones that actually did. 3 copies of Juragido. 3 copies of Makyura the Destructor. And good old Dralago. All searchable via Witch of the Black Forest, I might add. Next up is a fairly new addition. Dark Honest. Once a turn during your main phase, like Honest, you can return it to the hand. It's kind of the adverse of what Honest does. Instead, when your Dark monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send it to the grave, and that opponent's monster will lose attack equal to its own attack. Basically zeroing out whatever it's facing. Next up, a singular Phantom Sky Blaster. Basically some token spam for summoning those Wicked Gods. Next up, Vanity's Fiend. While it can't be special summoned, it does prevent both players from special summoning. So, a Christia that can't be special summoned and has 400 less attack points. I also pack Majesty's Fiend. Like Vanity's, can't be special summoned, but it prevents monster effects from being activated. So think of it as a Jinzo for monster cards. Next up, Lair of Darkness, as we move on to the Spell and Trap section. Makes all ace-up monsters on the field become dark. Once a turn, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, you can control a dark monster the opponent controls instead, even if you do not control it. Also, once a turn during the end phase, special summon as many torment tokens as possible to the turn player's field in defense, equal to the number of monsters treated this turn while it was face up. It's kind of customary for me to run a Monster Reborn in my favorite decks nowadays, isn't it? And the traps? They're all trap monsters. Starting out with 3 copies of Crystal Avatar. If an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, and its attack is greater than or equal to your life points, you can summon this bad boy in attack mode as an effect monster with attack equal to your life points. Then, it becomes the attack target. Still treated as a trap, by the way. If this card summoned this way is destroyed by battle, after damage calc, the opponent takes damage equal to its attack. Yes, I run Shapesister, even though the deck doesn't even have a Synchro monster. Quantum Cat and Swamp Mirror can be any type or attribute you please, so they can become dark if needed. This Stun Gray is basically unable to be destroyed by battle. And of course, Statue of English pattern puts the whole trap monster or gimmick to good use. Whenever a trap monster is summoned and while a statue's on the field, you can target and destroy 1 card on the field. And that would go once for each Statue of English pattern you have out. So if you summon, say, an Abyss Stun Gray while all 3 of these guys are in play, that basically nukes 3 cards off the opponent's board. Or, if you go chain crazy, statue, then another trap monster, your trap monster would trigger, allowing you to destroy a card with each statue. Then the first statue would trigger the other 2, and the second would trigger the last one, which kind of amounts to 6 cards getting nuked off their field. So yeah, a lot of destruction potential, a lot of disruption, a lot of wicked pleasure. That's the beauty of the wicked gods. And here's what sleeves the deck's been imbued with today. So, hopefully you enjoyed this delightfully wicked presentation. Until next time on Deck Specs.